What's up, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, podcasts, interviews, and more, you're going to find it right here. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you're going to see us post even more Dodgers content. Smash that like button. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comments section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day. Should the Dodgers give Dave Roberts a contract extension this offseason? And what grade would you give him for how he managed in 2021? I know we're going to get some strong takes on this one, and I can't wait to read them, but let me know down below. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So the big question today is, should the Dodgers sign Dave Roberts to a contract extension? Well, yesterday he told the LA Times, I know I got another year left, and it's just kind of expecting, hoping that they come to me and we can work something out, I guess. And if not, you just kind of do your job and play out the contract. I just think that this is where I want to be, and I expect that we'll have some really good conversations at some point in time this winter. And then through text message, Dodgers president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman, he told the LA Times, Dave has been a big part of our past success, and we fully expect him to be a large part of our future success as well. So should the Dodgers give Doc a new deal? Well, first, let's look at what he's accomplished as the Dodgers skipper. So he's been the manager for 6 seasons. He's won the NL West 5 of those 6 seasons, and he has a record of .542 and .329 with a .622 win percentage. 2 of those years, he set the franchise record for wins in a regular season with 106, and he did that in 2019 and this past year in 2021. Now, both those years, the Dodgers didn't win the World Series. In 2019, they were upset in the NLDS by the Washington Nationals, who would go on to be the World Series champions that year. And then this year, 2021, they beat the 107-win Giants in the NLDS, but they fall to the Atlanta Braves in the NLCS. So no World Series wins those 2 years, but they did win it in 2020. In 2020, the pandemic-shortened season, yet a 60-game regular season, and the Dodgers finished with a 43-17 record. That's good for a .717 win percentage. Now, that translates to a 116-win regular season. That would have tied them with the Seattle Mariners. Now, would the 2020 Dodgers have won 116 games? I don't think that's fair to say. A lot can happen during a season. You can have injuries derail your season like what happened to the Dodgers this year, but let's just say you give them 104 wins in 2020, which I think was definitely doable if they were able to stay healthy. That would mean Dave Roberts would be averaging over 100 wins per year as the Dodgers manager. So you're not going to find that much sustained success around Major League Baseball. So the first question I have for people that want to replace Dave Roberts is, who do you want to replace him with? Do you want to be like the San Diego Padres? Do you want to be like the St. Louis Cardinals and replace your manager? Because what Dave Roberts has provided is he has provided stability in an organization that went through tons of managers after Tommy Lasorda. From the Jim Tracy's to the Grady Littles to the Don Mattingly's to the Joe Torres to the Davey Johnsons. I mean, they had so many managers in LA that just couldn't get it done. Glenn Hoffman with the interim job. I mean, you just never found that guy, and he was able to get the Dodgers back to the World Series and end the 32-year drought. Then also, there's 2017. If you really believed that the Astros cheating won them the World Series, then that means you also should believe that Dave Roberts should have won 2 World Series titles. He should have one in 2017, and he should have one in 2020, and that would put him on a Hall of Fame trajectory. If Dave Roberts is able to sustain this level of success for 10, 15 years, add 1 or 2 more World Series titles, he's going to end up in Cooperstown. So the Dodgers have themselves a potential Hall of Fame manager, and yes, I don't think he's the perfect manager. I also criticize decisions that he and the front office makes when it comes to their managerial tactics. I do it all the time, but I think it's important to understand what Dave Roberts' role is within this organization. He is not single-handedly making each and every decision that the Dodgers make. Let's just look at Game 2 of the NLCS, where they bring in Julio Urias. He gives up 2 runs on 3 hits. The Braves tie it, and they ultimately win it in extra innings. Now, that was a move where right after the game, I was very very critical of it. I questioned it on the Dodgers Nation post-game show, but I also realized that that move was most likely made in advance. Julio Urias was going to be available. They knew in that situation, if they were going to face the lefties in the top of that order, that they were going to go to Julio in that spot. That's not just something that Dave pulled out of nowhere in that situation. That was a collaborative decision from the front office to Dave to the pitching coaches to everyone involved. That is how the Dodgers do things. And yes, from a perception standpoint, is he the guy that's making these moves, and is that how it appears? Absolutely. And that's kind of part of his job, is to get paid millions to take the heat. He's shown that he can do that, but I think that once you understand the role they have for Dave Roberts for this organization, I think you realize that he does a good job at it. He's a guy that executes the organization's philosophies. They want to play the matchups. That is not going to change as long as Andrew Friedman is the president of baseball operations. So if you have a problem with Dave Roberts, you also have a problem with Andrew Friedman, and you also have a problem with the analytics department. So you have to realize that this organization, under this ownership group, they are going to embrace analytics. That is how it's going to be. That isn't going to change, and Dave Roberts has proven that he can execute that strategy. Now, you're probably sitting there wondering, well, then where does the value of Dave Roberts come in if he's not making all these decisions? Well, he is a part of the decision-making process. I'm just trying to emphasize that it is a collaborative effort with Dave Roberts and the other powers that be, but I think where his real value lies is in his ability to manage personalities, to manage egos, to get guys to buy in to the Dodgers way. And he upholds a really positive clubhouse culture with the Dodgers. Guys just have an even-keeled mentality. They understand the standard that is in LA, and they, hey, you have to try to win a World Series. That is the expectation here, and Dave Roberts does a good job of just drilling that into the players that come through this Dodgers organization. I think that when it comes to should the Dodgers give him an extension, well, I say yes, they should, because if he doesn't have an extension, he's not going to have the same power, the same authority when it comes to drilling that message with these Dodger players. Because if you're a player out there and you know that they haven't offered him an extension, and he's essentially a lame duck coach, a lame duck manager, you're thinking, well, why should I listen to this guy if the organization isn't even committed to him? So to me, just knowing what I know and having talked to the people that I've talked to and knowing what they expect out of Dave Roberts, I think if they really want to commit to him long term, just give him the extension. If not, then you should move on. But to me, it's either extension or you just replace him. And if you are going to replace him, now might be the year if that's the route you're going to go, because you're going to have so much turnover in this roster. But I think at the end of the day, they will give Dave Roberts a contract extension. And to me, if you just look at his body of work and what he's been able to accomplish since he's taken over, I think they're going to give him an extension. And another thing to consider too is if you're not a fan of a lot of the moves that Dave Roberts makes, well, next year you're probably going to have the DH in the National League. And the one year you had the universal DH, the Dodgers won the World Series. So if you're not a fan of his moves, you're going to have to worry about that less moving forward, because you're going to have the DH in the NL. But earlier on Twitter, I asked you guys if the Dodgers should give Dave Roberts a contract extension, and here are some of your responses. At HockeyFan51 says, one of the best leaders in the game, period. He's the whole package, multiple dimensional on and off the field. On the field, he led his team to successful seasons when faced with adversity. Too bad this year ended with the mounting injuries. Repeat would have been great. At Viper_D_Spades. Dude is great for a clubhouse, but his decisions leave a lot to be desired. I think we've seen enough. Then at D Nauer tweets, the problem with Dave and upper management is what they do works well, averaged out over the course of 162 games. It doesn't work in a short series, and they don't seem to be able to figure that out. The team has won in spite of Roberts, not because of him, with talent masking shortfalls. Psy_Claus tweets, we should let an algorithm decide. Then at BleedBlue1973 tweets, should LA re-sign Dave Roberts, who has went to the NLCS 5 of 6 seasons, World Series 3 of 6, won championship, a .622 winning percentage, loved by the players, first-class human being? Who in the hell comes up with these questions? Hashtag Dodgers. Well, that would be me at BleedBlue1973, but thanks for your tweet. This is from @SteveDempsey1. Yes, yes, and yes again. With that many injuries and to get the Dodgers as far as they got is truly amazing. He should be manager of the year on top of an extension. Best Dodger manager since Lasorda. Then @Scott Wayne tweets, no, this team's success comes from the players, not him. He inherited a great team with great emerging young talent and incredible free agent finds. Taylor, Muncy, etc. by the front office. @Phil_for real says, fire him. The only reason he even has one World Series is because he got out Dave Roberts. He constantly has the better talent and comes up short. So am I a Doc defender? Am I a Dave apologist? No, I'm not. I just know that he can win World Series titles with the kind of rosters he's going to have with the Dodgers. But let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no, should the Dodgers sign Dave Roberts to a contract extension? I want all your takes down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @DMac_LA. For all things Dodger baseball, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you want to see us post even more Dodgers videos this offseason, smash that like button. For all latest Dodgers Nation merch, head over to gearup.la. Download the Dodgers Nation app. For latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.